Time to fuel your business success. Welcome to Harmonious at Lunch. We're bringing you bite-sized advice and expert conversations to drive clarity and growth 5 days a week. Make sure you join our Facebook group at humanopt.com/lunch, where listeners like you and our guests hang out so we can find harmony in business together. If you're building a business, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
Hey, welcome back to another weekly update on the Harmonious at Lunch podcast, another update. This one was awesome. 4 great episodes, 4 super cool guests. We had Kevin Jans. Yes, you know him. He was on a couple of weeks ago. We had a second episode with Kevin. I don't know if we hinted at this one on the first episode. I think we did. We talked all about specifically DOGE, what's going on in the United States government. That was a cool episode. We'll recap that in a minute. Austin Bonderer, Ray Lozano, and Francie Jane. And again, we were all over the place this week with different topics, how they apply to your business. And I love this stuff. I got to be honest with you. I get to talk to the coolest people. I hope you love these episodes. And I think these are 4 that you got to go back. Not all of them apply to everybody. I'll say that now. Austin, we talked all about patents and patenting your ideas. You know, for me, I've learned a ton, don't get me wrong, but I'm not in the business of patenting any ideas anytime soon. So not really applicable for me, but the other episodes and even that one, I mean, so cool, great information, great conversations. And if nothing else, just go back for the fun conversation because, you know, we love having those on this show. And I hope you love listening to them. So let's dive in. I got clips again. We got thumbnails. So wherever you're watching or listening, you'll hear snippets from the guests from the actual episodes. You can go back and check those out. It's on YouTube. It's on whatever platform you're on now. So go back, watch, leave some comments. We want to hear from you. And I want to hear about the guests. Do you like the guests? Do you like the topics? Do you want different topics? Please let me know because I put that show out for you, not for me. I do these weekly updates so that if you missed an episode, you can listen to this first and figure out, maybe I want to go back, maybe I don't. But let's dive in with Kevin and the first episode of the week, which was all about DOGE. So I wanted to have Kevin back because he does government contracting. He helps people get contracts with the government, and he also helps people within the government who select contracts to select the best company or agency outside of the federal government to work with and to give those contracts to. So we all have heard what's going on in the news with DOGE. There's big numbers, there's big claims, there's true statements, there's false statements, and without getting political at all on this episode, we did not also get political on that episode. So just a heads up, we took an objective approach at the truth and the reality of the situation and the numbers, and we said, okay, what is actually going on? Kevin went through, and he basically gave us the zoomed out picture of what's happening here. And he used the analogy of a snow globe, which I absolutely love. Let me put the thumbnail on the screen here. Wrong one. There we go. DOGE's impact on business while we're talking about it. So we used the analogy of a snow globe and said, basically, that's what's happening right now. This is somebody shaking a snow globe. The pieces are starting to settle. It's crazy, but they will settle. Things will fall. And it's going to be okay. It's how you react and how you perceive those moments where the real power comes, which is then the ability to, in his words, be a thermostat, not a thermometer. I love that analogy too. If you think about it, you can control a thermostat. You could say, put the temperature up, put the temperature down. A thermostat is purely, or a thermometer, excuse me, is purely reactive. And you definitely don't want to be that in business. So Kevin gave us 3 crucial questions to ask, not just for DOGE, but for any time the snow globe is shaken and how to prevent being a thermometer. I'm not going to tell you what those questions are. You're going to have to go listen to the episode to find that out. But it was really great stuff. And it's a great conversation, especially coming off of COVID. And I'm just going to put this out there now, what we're about to go through with a financial crisis that is absolutely looming. And it's on the very near horizon. The snow globe is getting shaken. It's getting shaken frequently. And the way we react to it and the skills that we have, the skills we possess, which is really our mindset and our perception, how we react to those things is 100% in our control. Somebody else is always shaking the snow globe, but if you know how to react, you hold all of the power. I'm not saying bad things won't happen, but you hold the power in being able to control your reactions and the direction of your business in that time of noise. That being said, let's play a clip here from Kevin, and then we'll move on to the next episode of the week.
Whenever you're going through a cycle, that's where we are right now. And so I might attempt to help people understand in the big picture, again, be a thermostat, not a thermometer. How is this impacting you? And if it's not, or you can't see a way in which it's going to, don't waste your valuable business resource of time. That's the one you can't make more of.
Absolutely great advice. Couldn't agree with it more. Kevin was so fun to have him on the show twice in such a short period of time. I thought nobody better to do that. He was great on both of the episodes that he joined us on Harmonious at Lunch. So if you haven't heard either of them, go back and listen. It was this one that aired on Monday of this past week. Don't ask me the date. His first episode aired 2 or 3 weeks prior to that. So within the last few weeks, if you're listening to this on the day it comes out. Great episode, great concepts, very, very important, again, because it's going to happen again. So let's understand what this means. And he also has, if you go back to the description of that episode on whatever platform you're on, a real-time tracker of DOGE's impact. So a lot of the numbers we're hearing in the media and on social media, they're not entirely accurate. So I did appreciate that from Kevin of just saying, okay, objectively, again, backed by data, here's what's actually going on, and here's how to understand if or how it impacts your business. So go back and listen to that. Thanks to Kevin for stopping by. Episode 2 of this week, Austin Bonderer. I already told you this week, talked about patents. We talked about if you have the $1 million idea, what do you do with it? And again, this not necessarily for me because I don't create things that need patents. I create podcast episodes and I air my opinion on the internet. Doesn't need a patent, but that's okay because there's a lot of people, even our clients, who patent things who have things that could be patented. Some do have patents. I know we have patents in our company. And of course, that's important and it's important to understand it. But I learned so much about patenting things, the process of it, how to really understand if you need a patent or a different kind of protection, because that's also something to consider. Maybe you don't need a patent, you just need a trademark or a copyright or some other form of protection for your ideas and your content, your product, your invention, whatever it is, and how to not get lost in expensive, not legal battles, but expensive legal investments to see whether or not you need to protect your idea or not. There's a lot of stuff you could do in advance. And I did appreciate Austin. He's got a passion for this space. He's been doing it since he was a kid and he just absolutely loved it. To me, I always love that. That's one of the best parts because in this area of work, especially, it's not sexy. I think I even said that on the show and he laughed because it's true. He agreed with that. But he just absolutely loves it. He loves what he does. And I love hearing from people who are truly passionate about what they do. So let's play the clip from Austin here. Then we'll move on to the next episode of the week.
Remember during the time, they're like, oh my goodness, give people aspirin when they're having heart attacks.
New use.
So, right, new use. You could not patent aspirin itself. But at the time, if you were the first one to discover that, aspirin could be helped to treat heart attacks, you could patent the method of treating a heart attack with aspirin.
Yeah, super cool. And again, just different ways to think about protecting your ideas, marketing your ideas, and even that. We're talking about patents, yes, and protecting ideas, but that applies to marketing ideas, just figuring out different use cases for your product. Interesting way to think about what you're doing in the context of protecting your IP. Wednesday's episode, Ray Lozano. This episode, I'm going to go out there and say it was the best episode of the week. I just think, not to take away from the other 3 guests, but this episode, the way Ray communicated and really what he was talking about, I was skeptical at first. And when we were talking before we started recording behind the scenes, he talked about your customers being addicted to you. That is a powerful word. It's a strong word, and that word might trigger some people. He even talked about getting your kids addicted to you. Then when we started recording, unpacking really what's at stake here and getting your customers to be loyal, diehard fans rather than just consumers who may buy from you a couple of times and then look to buy elsewhere. Getting them addicted to you, and the way he explained it made so much sense. It's not a true addiction, but it's a new way to explain raving fans. A concept I think we've all heard about if you've been in business for more than 3 seconds is the idea of building and creating raving fans or a raving fan culture. There's books on this topic. Ray introduced a new way to think about it, and he actually got it down to a science. He talked a little bit about that on the episode, but putting yourself in the customer's shoes and always prioritizing their experience from their lens, not from how you think it should be perceived or how you think they walk through your business, or whether it's physical or digital business and that experience, but actually making sure you get inside their head and you continue to serve them rather than making assumptions. Great episode. It can be used in any business. Here's the thumbnail on the screen: double your business. And that's one of the things we talked about, is doubling your business in a very short period of time, as little as 1 year, just by using the strategies he talked about on this episode. And it doesn't cost anything to go through this exercise with yourself, your team, in your business, no matter the size of your business. This stuff works, and I highly encourage you to listen to the episode. But here's a quick little clip from Ray on this topic.
Step one is remembering what it's like to be your customer, going all the way back. And not just like, oh, okay, I'm going to sit here for 2 minutes and remember that. I mean, write an extensive, man, it's awful trying to locate me. It's hard coming in. I don't even know what to ask when I'm sitting in front of you. I have no idea, and write all that stuff out and put yourself in those shoes.
Great tips. And you heard him in the beginning. That was step one. If you want the rest of the steps, go back and listen to that episode. Again, that's one where you could probably listen to it 3 or 4 times and pull something new out every single time. A huge shout out to Ray. Love what he's about. Love getting to meet him and have him on the show. Thank you, of course, for stopping by. Last episode of the week, Francie Jane. This one was another cool episode. We talked about what I think is a potentially controversial topic, but that group coaching for your employees is actually a better investment than R&D for your business. When I saw this topic pop up on my calendar, my interview calendar, I was like, this is going to be stupid. And this is going to be a crazy episode. But Francie was incredible to meet. She's created a platform, a marketplace. And she said, it's kind of like the Airbnb for business coaching and group coaching, where she doesn't employ the coaches. They're free agents, so to speak. They come to this marketplace, they list their services, where they bid on requests. Companies also come to this platform to then look for coaches or submit proposals to coaches. So I thought it was super cool to hear about that, about the business model. And I'm curious. I'd love to have Francie back on the show just to talk about her business model. But what she talked about was she comes from this background of coaching and L&D, learning and development for different companies. And she said, what happens when you invest in the employees? Typically, you see companies investing in the executives. I mean, you yourself listening to the show, if you own or manage a business, you probably invest in yourself in some sort of professional development, personal development, coaching. How often do we trickle that down to our employees? She said that, and she had case studies. I'll play a clip from one in just a second here, and you can see it if you're watching. We hinted at it with the thumbnail, a $32 million payoff. She went through case studies of clients who had significant revenue and profit increases because they invested in their employees. Some of the things that it did was reduce turnover. It would increase the productivity and efficiency of employees. It would one of the big things that I thought was super cool, and I haven't heard this term before, but it increases psychological safety. So employees actually felt safer to share their ideas and communicate and open up and make the workplace better, make their company better, because they knew that the leaders actually cared and they wanted the input from the employees, which we all say we want as employers, as leaders. We want feedback from the people who are actually boots on the ground and are absorbing the necessary information and crucial information. But often people don't feel psychologically safe enough. They think there's going to be some backlash or you're going to argue them, and then they shut down, basically. That was one of the biggest side effects of investing in group coaching. So this episode, if you're not investing in coaching or personal development, professional development for your team, your employees, I highly suggest you go listen to this episode and then check out Francie's platform as well, because it could be the difference between just squeaking by in business and incredible growth and profitability. Let's check this clip out.
But actually, when you quantify it in dollars, it's mind-blowing. So it's the difference between 24%, the peak, right, when they started this, and then where they ended up with 4%, is $32 million a year.
Wow.
Right. And then they also won all these awards. So when the awards mean that all their metrics were moving in like the right direction, right? The excellence direction, whatever it's like lowering or hiring, whatever the thing is, like fewer errors, like happier patient, all these metrics that hospitals use to evaluate themselves. And the point is that, I can guarantee you they were not spending $32 million a year on this, right? They were probably spending some modest amount of money just as like, let's see what happens.
Super cool story. You got to hear the whole story about how that transpired. And it was for a hospital client of hers where, again, the effects of investing in coaching were monumental. $32 million in 1 year was the final payoff, as you heard there in that clip. But that kind of stuff is possible. And everything she's saying, I know is true because I see that work in what we do at HumanOp as well. So I'll wrap the week up with that. If you haven't downloaded the HumanOp app for yourself to see the insights it can give you for how you're naturally wired and how you're designed to operate, and then apply that to your business, I strongly suggest you go do that. Humanop.com, go download the app. And if you have questions, reach out. We're in beta mode, so we want to hear your feedback. We want to know what's working, what's not, what's confusing, what makes sense. Go chat with our AI that we've custom built and integrated into the app. It's one of those things that is going to be the crucial linchpin to your success, is understanding yourself. So go download the app. We've had success for the last 20 years with this technology. This is just the first time we're putting it into an app and a SaaS model and going out to the world. We have it baked into a business dashboard platform that's coming out soon. So more news on that in the coming weeks. But for now, go download the app. Thanks for listening to this episode, the Wupdate from Harmonious at Lunch. We have amazing episodes and guests lined up for next week. Can't wait to have you back. I hope you listen to those episodes. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you on next week's episodes of Harmonious at Lunch.
Another episode of Harmonious at Lunch in the books. I hope this episode made you think and you grabbed some actionable ideas to propel your business. Don't forget to like, comment your takeaways, and subscribe wherever you're listening so we can help more entrepreneurs just like you achieve harmony in their life and business.